It's July 21st, 2025. I am at Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. TheJoelPearl.com on Blue Sky, by the way, because people still use that platform, including myself. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I promise you. A marvelous Monday here in the city of Toronto. It is nice and comfortable. It's not too hot anymore. The weather is beautiful. The sun is out, and we're ready to talk about a whole lot of nothing. Jeremy Lambert is here, as he always is. How are you feeling, pal? A nice, relaxing weekend for you.
Yeah, I watched wrestling on Sunday. I watched some wrestling on Saturday.
What was on Sunday?
Oh, the greatest pay-per-view of all time, Joel.
NWA ran a pay-per-view?
Yeah, close to it. Close to it. The greatest pay-per-view of all time happened on Sunday. What?
Heroes of Wrestling 2? No, that's the next one with the way that they're building that one.
What a show. What a show. Oh, man. I'm so excited to talk about this. I've never been more excited to talk about a TNA pay-per-view.
TNA? I've never heard of them. Someone in the chat, Zeno Hour, saying Joel's on 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, you're pretty close. I got to bed. I was telling Jeremy I fell asleep by 2:30. I was up until 2 working. I fell asleep until I got up around 7 o'clock. So a little more than 3 hours, but I was certainly, definitely feeling it this morning. But I'm up, I'm here, and we'll see what happens.
I was up till 2:30 as well, but that's because I was watching Breaking Bad. I'm starting a rewatch of Breaking Bad, everybody. I've seen it. I still don't spoil it in case people who haven't seen it. I mean, if it's been this long, it feels like, you've subjected yourself to spoilers at this point. But I'm starting my rewatch of that. I only watched the first episode last night, but I was still up late doing other things before starting my Breaking Bad rewatch.
Well, don't rewatch us because half the time you're just going to cry. Instead, watch this. Watch live. And go ahead, leave a thumbs up on the video. Get the pyro going. We're going to have more pyro here than they did on last night's alleged show. Let's get that going.
Did they do pyro last night?
They did none. That's why our pyro is going to be... Our budget is bigger. They can bring in the guys from XM all they want. From that morning show, they can have their booker be the guy on that show. I don't care. We have pyro. You don't have pyro. We have pyro. Leave a thumbs up on the video. And, of course, subscribe to the channel here. Fightful Overbooked. We've got content every single day. Something going up, something going live, whatever it is. The Wrestling Made Me Cry Friends did a show last evening. Go check that out. And, of course, the Spotlight is on Thursdays. This Thursday, I hear you're preempted.
Yeah, we're taking the week off, most likely. It's not official, but we will have an interview. We are gonna record an interview. I guess I don't know if Jameson, if Jensen spoiled it, but we are supposed to have Jameson Shook, who won the SEI tournament. So we're gonna record that and then air that Thursday in place of a normal show. So yeah, we're most likely taking a week off.
And you can always check out Coexisting with Rob and Maggie on Fridays as well. We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, doing our thing. Jeremy's here all 5 days. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the one and only SP3 is here on Tuesdays and Thursdays to cover everything in professional wrestling. We all have our strengths. Some on different planes, that's all. People saying sports entertainment made Joel cry, wrestling made Joel cry. Wrestling made me, nothing makes me cry. I mean, like certain moments, but nothing makes me upset cry in wrestling. Things annoy the hell out of me in wrestling, and very rarely does it. Last night's was a show that Jeremy loved. I get it, which I fully expected. Cannot tell you that this was a good show.
You're done, right? You quit.
We're doing Thursday's live show because we did commit to that. When we talked about this from the get-go, just for transparency, we said we are doing the live show because TNA Live tends to be a little more fun, although the last one they ran was at like 10 o'clock in the evening and it didn't really do much. This time it's actually live. So we'll probably, we will have a post show on Thursday for the TNA Live Impact show. But I made the call. I had originally said if they don't belt up Santana on this show, that's it for me. And people have had a lot of feelings towards that, both me leaving and the decision to not give Santana the world title. By the way, get in your super chats. You can get in on this conversation too. People have already started sending them in. This was not a great finish. I think the way that they did this took away from the entire show, and we're going to talk about that so much more. Do you want to get your finger on the button real quick? Because we may as well just hop into it.
Okay.
Volib sends a super chat saying, Vanilla Fumble.
I'm vanilla, baby.
Is what we call when, you know what, Joel? You tell me. Vanilla Fumble is when you set up the guy that you have been talking about as the guy since November, December. You build him up to be the guy. You play video packages that feature his dead dad's voicemail in the build. You talk about how he is your number one. You talk about how he's coming home. You talk about how he's in the main event, how he has to win. You put him on a media tour. He talks to every single place and every single outlet, big, small, and in between. And you do that. And then you say, oh, that's heat, brother. Brother, that's not heat. What happened last night was a great way to completely trash your fan base. And we can get into there's two ways to look at this. There's the partnership side, which people have certainly taken to, and then there is just the TNA fans who watch TNA side of things and what their expectations were and their hopes with this match were. You know, forget we'll toss aside the partnership side. Go back 1 year. Go back to Slammiversary last year in Montreal. Joe Hendry in the sixth way, people were really into him. I didn't think that Joe was going to win. I didn't think it was Joe's time. I thought, do it to Joe in a one-on-one match. Do it at Bound for Glory. You can build him for this. And then what did they do? He lost. Then they did it. They had to do it again, and then they had to do it a third time. The third time was the charm. They did it at Genesis, but by then, nobody cared. Nobody gave a damn about Joe Hendry. It had diminishing returns because they thought we were building the heat, brother. They thought they were going to do Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39-40, and we're going to talk about why that doesn't work, and why it doesn't work for TNA, and why it worked for WWE at the time. We'll get into that. And now they're trying to do it with Mike Santana, and now they're doing it to such a large scale degree that they have taken him at home, screwed him out of the match, screwed him out of the title that he had won by all accounts in the match, to have Trick Williams do the fake injury spot, which honestly I liked it. I didn't hate it. I thought they did a good amount of believability. And then Trick runs in, steals the pin. Then I have people saying, and I know this chat knows better, so you all are just having fun. They say let it play out, or it's going to be Bound for Glory is when he's going to win. Well, here's the problem with Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory is in Boston. It's not even in Boston. It's 40 miles away, as I was told by Mike Gilbert, another TNA guy. It's in Lowell. It's in the shadows of Boston, to which he said it's that far away. And I was like, great. That's also the shadows of Boston. It's a long shadow. So they're going to do Lowell. Mike Santana is not from Lowell. Mike Santana is from New York. I don't care who wins at that point. You took the hometown guy and you screwed him out of the match because you thought you were going to build sympathy. Jeremy, this is what happens when people who think that 1988 USWA booking is the way you're supposed to book in 2025. Yes, I'm looking at you, Tommy Dreamer. And when you think that people with long, stringy masks who speak gibberish and never got over think that this is the way to tell wrestling stories. Yes, I'm looking at you, Delirious, who booked ROH into the ground going into COVID. Couldn't book your way out of it. That Tony Khan had to buy it and tweet out that how great AEW is doing, which he's right, by the way. This is what happens when you don't give any fan service to the people who paid. You had 7,600 people in your building. You had the largest attendance. And again, we'll see what WrestleNomics brings up because, obviously there's some skepticism towards who's counted in that number. Either way, if this was larger than your 7,100 at the Alamo Dome in 2013 for Lockdown 2013, if this was bigger than that, great, good on you. You screwed up. And you thought that I'm ranting here already. It's 3 minutes in. You brought in AJ Styles, and AJ Styles is the third talking point in your night. And you know what the first two are? The one we're on now and the one we're going to get on later, where the other busted open host comes out and says, let's have another match. Your tag team partner has health issues, is not cleared to compete. And this is what you think Bound for Glory should be built around, is your geezer talent? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Let it play out. Jeremy, you love this show. Talk about it.
My wife will confirm. I was dying laughing.
Of course.
When Santana won. Or lost, sorry. Should have won. I wouldn't have laughed if he won. I would have been very happy for Santana. I was cackling when Trick Williams won. I saw the injury spot, and I was like, oh, that doesn't seem great. But then they lingered too long. It's like, oh, no, this is fake. Because then they, like, tried to help him, but they, like, fake tried to help him, and then he stopped at the top of the ramps. Like, yeah, I was like, he's going to run in and steal this pin. That's what's going to happen. He's going to run in and steal this pin. And sure enough, he ran in and stole the pen. And I cackled. Straight cackled for a good 5 minutes. This was hilarious. Because they had it. They had it. Like, I agree with you. Joel. In my serious, let's talk about wrestling for a minute. They had it. It was right there for them. You built up Santana. You had your crowning moment in his home state. You could have done this, gotten a huge reaction. He was over, too. He was so over.
They brought up the guy who did his entrance and rapped, and like someone, I forget who it was, but called him like Boricua Fat Joe ripoff, and it was like everyone was so into it. And by the way, not even home state, hometown, man. Like, yes, and not hometown man. He was in his hometown. Yes, he doesn't live on Long Island. He's from the Bronx, but like he's still of the 5 boroughs. He's still that guy.
Right.
Go on.
I said home state because I don't want, people getting mad. Like, he's actually from Brooklyn and Long Island's not Brooklyn. People get mad about territorial and geography. So.
It's just the boroughs.
There
are 5 of them.
Don't need people mad at me. I do enough of that. He was so over. But then Trick I like Trick's entrance. That was a very good entrance.
Oh, yeah, the Harlem Choir was really, again, I do like it. I thought they did a really, really good job doing the entrances. Joe Hendry was not even important to any of this. He was just there to take the pin and be done. It was, I think that Trick's entrance was really good using the Harlem Choir. The Harlem, what were they called? Gospel Choir.
Yeah, Gospel Choir, yeah. So they do the whole thing, and then Trick wins. The shot, you already know. Carlos Silva with his 1 hour hat, TNA wrestling hat. And he's just
and the thing is down. He's looking down and then he looks and he smiles. This is the problem with having the front facing guy be front facing he's not that guy. He's not.
Yeah, he was like excited when JC Jane won too. Yeah. He was like smiling. Yeah.
And I talked about this last Monday on our show. He was bopping his head to Trick Williams' theme when he came out of the Great American Bash. Like, he did it one time where he was good doing the front row. And even that, actually, come to think of it, it wasn't good the first time because he's like looking off at the ring and he's looking distraught, like, oh my God, Trick won the title. And then he looks directly at the camera. I was like, what, did you realize the red light's on and now you need to go and make sure? Like, that he's not an actor. He's not. He wants to be front facing, but he's not Scott. And this isn't oh my God, Scott's amazing. No, this is Scott D'Amore, was a wrestler first before he was an executive. So for him, like, that's second nature to act. Carlos Silva is not an actor, and he's not doing a good job of trying to play the role of the owner who is distraught that their partner has taken all of their top titles. He didn't give a shit. He's smiling because he's like, oh, WWE, I like working with them. And it's not adding to anyone who feels that, WWE is going to buy TNA and they're going to squash in little brother TNA. Well, last night they certainly felt like they did the latter. I don't know about the purchase part, but man, they're going to start giving credence to those rumors real quick if they don't correct ship.
Carlos Silva in that photo looks very sad until he looks very happy. And then Trick just celebrates and the show goes off the air. And I thought it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I'm
going to point out something that has been a topic of conversation this this week, or at least after last night, people talking about contract lengths in TNA. I want everyone to remember, because we do this dance every single year. TNA contracts, by and large, are 1 year in nature. They are very rarely longer than 1 year. Moose is the only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and that's because he said to us, kind of by accident, that he had a 5-year deal, and that was because Scott really wanted to repay him for the work that Moose did. So instead, he got a 5-year deal, and Scott got canned. But other people are mostly working on a 1 year or a PPA deal. Guys like again, you're looking at Santana, Joe Hendry, Steve Maclin. Masha just re-signed at the beginning of this year as well. If they're all on 1 year deals, you're about to look at a lot of talent, looking at a lot of asks for money and not creative control, but certainly more creative influence than what they've been given, because Jesus Christ, a lot of them got completely turned out last night. Tricked out, if you will. We'll talk about Steve Maclin too, because he's another guy who absolutely did not deserve what they did to him and his people last night.
I mean, that set the tone for the whole night, honestly.
It really did. I was fine with the opening, with the elegance and the inspiration. Like, I got that. I understood exactly what that was. There's a coherent story somehow in there. But, like, when they got to
3, 2, 1, tell the story.
That was the most. People were like, "Oh, TNA can never get it right." I'm like, "That's a feature, not a flaw."
Yeah, that happens every single show.
It's death, taxes, and a TNA production screw up. And it wasn't even like who did 30 Black, who rapped Trick down to the ring. Not Rick, sorry, AJ Francis. Was it 30 Black?
We outside. Outside.
And he's struggling because he's not wearing in-ear monitors either. And I went off on the post show again. You got to get your talent who are rapping, who are singing, who are going with music. You need to get them with a pair of in-ear monitors, listening to what's being broadcast out to the audience. Because if you're going by what's being played on the speakers above you, you're never going to get it right. The latency is off. You're off. It's going to sound terrible. And that's what they did last night with that guy. It was not good. I mean, I also think he was a little intoxicated, but that's just, that's just me. That's me speculating. That's not me reporting.
Well, you've never been outside like they have, Joel.
So. I will stay inside after last night.
We outside. So they have Trick win. And look, I agree with you. I've seen people try to surmise, like, oh, look what happened with Cody, and it built to a bigger moment. Look what happened with Hangman, and it built to a bigger moment. Let's take that at face value. Let's pretend like these people actually believe this or care, because I don't think anybody actually cares about TNA to an extent that they're gonna defend this. I truly don't.
I can think of 3 people off the top of my head, but none of them are important, so continue.
So let's take that at face value. Cody, everyone agreed that they screwed up at WrestleMania 39, and they should have gone with Cody at that time. I'm not going to say they lucked into what happened at WrestleMania 40, but Roman's title reign from 39 to 40 was really all right, let's get to the next Cody thing so Cody can actually take the title, because we don't believe any of these people are actually taking the title from him. Furthermore, Cody was not the plan at WrestleMania 40. The Rock was the plan at WrestleMania 40. And you could have actually done Roman and The Rock if you took the title off of Roman the year before. And now we may never get Roman and The Rock. So did that actually work out in their favor? Yes, they got the desired reaction at WrestleMania 40. But did they step on their own plans because they decided to go with Roman at WrestleMania 39? Hangman it all in. Worked out. No, can't say it didn't. What were your other options? Swerve at Dynasty? Yeah, you could have gone there. Hangman it all in was undoubtedly the bigger moment. You didn't have another chance to do anything else with Moxley. You weren't putting the belt on Cope. No one actually wanted that. They wanted Moxley's reign to end, but you didn't want to put it on Cope. They weren't going to end it at a random Dynamite or anything. So Dynasty was your shot with Swerve, and they decided, no, we're going to hold off. We're going to give you the bigger moment at All In. And it worked. Look when they did those shows. WrestleMania 40, biggest show of the year. All In, biggest show of the year. You can tell me Bound for Glory is your biggest show of the year because for some reason they branded it the biggest show of the year, although I've always maintained it should be Slammiversary. That is your actual anniversary show. You just threw on the Bound for Glory branding. It's like, this is actually our biggest show. It's like, no, it's Slammiversary, you dummies.
They didn't want to have to contend with SummerSlam being.
They're dumb.
It's dumb. No, I agree with you, but like that was really the thought at the time. It was, we don't want to go up against SummerSlam as that show, so instead we'll take later on in the fall, which at that point Survivor Series had kind of fallen off a cliff. But continue.
They're dumb. That's what I'm saying.
100%.
So you can say, oh, Bound for Glory, our biggest show. That's our actual biggest show. Like, all right, sure. If you want that to be your argument, is Bound for Glory is your actual biggest show, because you've said it's our biggest show, even though you don't really do anything different for Bound for Glory than you did with anybody else. Here's why Slammiversary was your biggest show for this year. You ran your biggest arena, you had your biggest attendance, and you had Santana in his hometown. That made it, by default or by booking, your biggest show. Bound for Glory is no longer your biggest show this year. It's not in a bigger arena. It's not going to be where Santana is going to get a bigger reaction. And you're not going to have the same attendance number that you had. You're running a venue, not a venue, but you are running a territory that WWE is running 2 months earlier. WWE's in Bull for NXT Heatwave. Sure, it's 2 months. You think there wouldn't be overlap. But if I just watch NXT TNA put on by actual NXT, am I really going to be like happy to go, all right, now bring me the TNA show? Santana might win the title on the NXT show, honestly.
You know,
he might even do it on the TNA show.
I think they might go to Lowell, and they might have Trick retain and set up Santana and Trick twice in Lowell. I think, or they'll do the rematch. I think you'll see Santana and Trick in Lowell, Massachusetts at both of those shows, and I think that's absolutely asinine. It's bonkers. They might set up Trick and Joe Hendry again for Heatwave, which I don't know why you would do it, but they're having a Santana versus Joe Hendry match on the Live Impact, and it feels like the winner of that's going to try and go after Trick again. And then meanwhile, you've got Santino Marella, who's going to go on NXT on Tuesday, who's super serious and address the whatever. He's going to go to NXT. Yeah, he's going to be on NXT this week. He's going to be in Houston to address the fact that, you know, both of their main championships are on NXT talents, and that the TNA champion's about to have a face-off with the friggin' Undertaker in an LFG activation. Like, what are we doing here?
The Undertaker should be like, what's that belt?
Hey, man, nice belt. Like, what are we doing?
Nah, he should just like, what is that belt? And Trick's like, this is a TNA World Title, Trick and A.
It's the Trick and A belt. Let's talk about it. And then they'll completely veer off. So LFG.
And then Undertaker is like, that's not even the fourth brand, brother.
Is that your indie fed? Is that your e-fed? You kids and your computers. Like, no one wants to bring guns and knives. They want to just play their e-feds on their game cubes.
Like, oh, back in my day, we didn't wear third-rate promotional titles on our television shows.
Good God.
They missed it. They missed the boat
completely,
as they typically do. And they had the opportunity with their biggest audience, with new eyes, with fresh viewing, with people willing to give them a chance, willing to be like, all right, this is a new TNA. Nah. Same old LOL TNA making the same old LOL TNA decisions. It absolutely rules.
They had the chance. They had the chance to break the chain, but they went back to that abusive ex, and they decided to keep it going. That's all it is. They had that chance. You want to hit a couple super chats here?
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Henry's has sent a bunch. First one saying, for the free Thursday night wine fund. Thanks, Joel. Enjoy. I hope they didn't even hit my AJ Styles saving parlay. They didn't even get that, and we'll get into AJ Styles in a minute. But yeah, my Thursday nights might be free. I might trade my Thursdays for Fridays, Jeremy, because Alex Cardozo left the SmackDown post show. Okay. So maybe I'll just start working Fridays, brother. At least that's a 2-hour show that has stuff. I guess. Tinder's also adding TKO about to buy Anthem Sports, all hilarious. And again, the antitrust stuff continues to come up, but like they're not beating the allegations when they do this stuff. They're really not. And like I get it. People are getting beat down. People who were either defending TNA or at least trying to explain from a sports standpoint, or maybe not sports, but from a financial standpoint, the company may not be profitable, but it didn't really stand to have them get bought out by WWE. Who knows at this point? They did a pretty terrible job with it. And everyone's saying like, oh, let it play out. Bound for Glory. They're going to win everything back. Like, sure. But right now, you're going to have fewer people who want to watch that as a result of what you've done. So there we go. Matthew Hook saying TNA is NXT's NXT. The WWE monopoly continues. NXT's NXT is Evolve and LMT. Like, TNA is just a side quest for a lot of these guys and girls. It's we don't have anything for you to do on TV, so we're going to put you on the other TV. And like, I get it. Again, Dark State was sent to TNA because they wanted them to get reps as a team and as a group, and they put them up against the veterans. The veterans beat their asses, which was surprising in a way, but like Dark State was a reason to go to TNA. They had an overpopulated women's roster in NXT, so they sent a bunch of them over to TNA to work and get some reps. That was good. It at least gave something for TNA to work with. But what they're doing now, it's been very much like your top guys are going to come to Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be our reclamation projects. That's where it's been.
This was so funny that they actually did it. Speculation. I know Sean posted some GIFs earlier in the day. John Alba was tipping you off as best he could not tip you off, but all the people who were in the know of this stuff were trying to prepare everybody of like, it would be such a massive mistake. Like, it felt like they were trying to send up some smoke signals and get people talking about this is a bad idea in hopes that they'd change their mind midway through the pay-per-view. It was so funny watching people in the know like just be like, this is not a good idea, guys. Don't do this. And everybody freaking out like, oh, what does this mean? Are they actually going to do it? Like, oh no, they're not actually going to do it. Santana's going to win. Don't worry. And Alba and Sean are like, this is a bad idea. We're trying to warn everybody, including those in the back, that this is a bad idea.
Yep.
And then they went for it. And
a lot of people inside and out were saying, this is bad. Look what you just did this. And when your top two bookers are guys who have taken chair shots to the head unabashedly for the last 15 years, I have questions as to who's deciding what for this company from a creative standpoint. It's absolutely bonkers. Cyclops is better than Wolverine says last night TNA took away Joel's smile. It's for wrestling in a certain way they did. Listen, I gotta be honest, like TNA has been a point of pride for me when it comes to covering for this website. I feel like, you know, Sean has a lot of contacts at TNA. He really, like, he does, and he talks to a lot of talent, and on camera and off, he has those guys. I've worked my tail off to bring at least some sort of like pride and enjoyment to TNA, and it's made our show, our post show, one of the top, if not the top TNA post show in wrestling news. People watch us from in and out of the company. Hell, I'll blow his spot because he tweeted it publicly. Moose gave Jensen and I flowers for the way we talked about his match with Leon Slater last night. You know, we're watched. We are aware that we're watched. And to me, that's a point of pride. I don't like it that TNA continues to play in our face with a lot of stuff, and we talk about it. We're not just going to say, everything's great, everything's amazing, and this is the way why you should watch only TNA. No, we're going to be honest about it, but it really sucks that for the last 3-4 years we've been really on top of this shit and getting a lot out of it. But now it feels like they just don't give a shit. They just don't. So why should I? If they're not going to give us anything, what's the reciprocal nature of this? We give you content, and what, I'm going to shit on it for every week? My mental health's not worth that. Not doing this. Ken Bruno was live at the show. He was sitting ringside.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken.
He was sending me a photo. He's like, he said some stuff, and I said, I'm gonna have Daniel Spencer come and smack you. I said, thoughts on Slammiversary? 1, congratulations to Joel on retiring. Well, I get my Thursday nights free. I'm still doing this show. 2, TNA dropped the ball on Santana. Absolutely agreed. 3, she's a racist chants were loud. Yes, they were. And if you were in the arena, I'm sure they were much louder, but we heard them loud and clear on TV. Vix Crow was leading No She's Not chants. Uncomfortable.
Oh, is that who was leading the?
It was her, and then there's also those 3 guys in the front row that were at the last 2 pay-per-views with like "We Love Tessa" signs that everyone thought were plants. No, those guys are just fans, which I don't understand how in 2025 you think that Tessa's okay. Again, we talked about it on the post show. Tessa Blanchard, fantastic wrestler. Knows how to wrestle, knows how to do that stuff. I mean, the match against Cindy was not
that
great.
match was
not great. It wasn't great, but from a performance standpoint, Tessa is fine. Like, Tessa is a good, competent wrestler. No one can take her work rate away from her. But when you refuse to talk about the one thing that people just need you to talk about one time, and you're being told by your PR team in and outside of wrestling, don't do it, you're building yourself up for the continued failure you've been getting. And at this point, you deserve it because you're not pushing back. And also, like, I get nobody's asking, because here's the reality. If anyone asks, they've already been told don't ask, and it's just going to cut off the interview and that's it. You can ask, but you know that it's just going to end in this interview's over. And that's frustrating for all of us. So Tessa is, I'm not going to defend her, 100% not. And people have been pointing it out. And again, it's not a conversation for me, but I can tell you Cresta has absolutely mentioned it. That gave you Vix Crow and said, here's her black friend. Now you know she's not a racist. And like, okay, sure, that's not necessarily how fans are feeling about this. They've shown you time and again what she is. They played they played the entire story as Indy saying you don't take accountability for anything. And now they're going to suspend her indefinitely, quote unquote, for the audio listeners. And now the conversation shifted to, oh, she's just going to show up on NXT because if she can't be on TNA, she may as well go to the partner company. And it's like, why? You're giving them what she wants. And now the PC is just going to yell she's a racist. But it's Florida, so maybe not. I don't know. Obnoxious.
I didn't care for that match. You know what annoyed me about that match besides
Indy 1 having gotten like 2 moves in?
I mean, yeah, it wasn't a well laid out match, but this is something that's like very basic to me. I thought the kickouts sucked. Like there was no fire behind the kickouts. It was the kickouts where like the opponent just like lets off instead of the person who's getting pinned, like, you know, really popping the shoulder up. It was, oh, let me stop making the cover so you can pretend like your shoulder. There was just no fire behind the kickouts. And that kind of takes me out of a match. Like, if you don't care enough to, like, kick out with a purpose, I don't care enough to get invested in your match. And I'm not going to pretend like I was super invested in this match anyway, because I wasn't. But in watching the match, that took me completely out of it. I'm like, all right, this is the level that you guys are going to work at. Okay, moving on.
Worth noting, this is the second pay-per-view in a row that Tessa has dropped, and she dropped the 2 matches after the person who brought her in got fired. Sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But if the reclamation project is going to be in Florida on Tuesday nights, then I don't even know what to think anymore. That's a non-starter for me and so many others. It's obnoxious. So stupid. Ken adding that the crowd not being into the kickouts contributed to that, and it felt like there were things you'd expect the crowd to react to, and it didn't happen. No, because they were too busy chanting she's a racist at her and not giving a shit about the match, which I get it. And the match did fall apart towards the finish. That's another good point from Ken. It was just very awkward, and the kickouts, like you said, were not great. All the matches had a finish or kick out. Like they did it to all the matches where someone hit their finish and someone kicked out, and that just, if you can't talk about it with the producers before the match, why are you doing this? So who knows? Someone saying, why did Tessa get suspended? In kayfabe, what happened after the match? Indy was giving a ringside interview by Gia Miller, who's the backstage and side stage correspondent. She got beat up to Gia Miller by Tessa after the match. And because she went after Gia and she attacked someone who's not a wrestler, they kicked her out of the building. And then before the main event, for some reason, they had Santino also add that Tessa got suspended indefinitely. And I think that was just to get the crowd excited live in the arena. So there it is. That's the story with Tessa. Yeah. It's a kayfabe suspension. So that a lot of people are assuming she's going to show up on NXT as a result. Let's talk about one good thing, I guess. You want to talk about Moose and Slater? Leon Slater gets crowned the NXT. Wow, it shows where my brain's at. Leon Slater gets crowned the youngest ever X Division champion. He beats Moose in the match that I was calling the sleeper match of the night for a lot of people. I think a lot of people looked forward to Ali and Cedric Alexander, and rightfully so. The match was great, but Moose and Leon Slater absolutely delivered. I thought that the story was really well told from the get-go with Leon Slater getting his flowers from every TNA legend leading up to this match, and then also getting it from Moose at the end of the match. It looks like the system might be on a babyface turn, but the Slater wins in a great match, and then we can talk about AJ Styles. What do you think of Moose and Leon Slater?
Oh, it was very good. And yeah, speaking of finisher kickouts, when Moose kicked out of the first Swanton 450, the crowd was not happy. I was like, oh my gosh, you better have Leon Slater win, because if Moose wins, this crowd is just gonna, especially with what they got later in the night, this crowd, they're not gonna riot, but
no, they were. If they had done both, they probably would have rioted.
And they were like not happy that Moose kicked out of the first one. But to TNA's credit here, they gave you the finish that you wanted, which was Leon Slater winning. I thought it was a great match. I thought Leon Slater was going to win. It felt like it was his time, his moment. And I'm glad they did not miss on this one.
They had to get there. Like I said, Leon Slater has been the guy that they wanted to build. I had mentioned this to a few other people, and including on their post show. BritRes talent, a lot of the UK talent, they're big on TNA for a reason. It's not just because TNA is TNA. There's a reason Will Ospreay and Leon Slater, and I'm missing one more that I was talking about that I completely forgot. Big talent care about TNA because it was the free option when they were growing up. Joe Hendry's the third one, and they've all talked about this. TNA was the only thing that you could watch for free on UK television, because when WWE was on Sky Sports, that's a pay channel. It was a cable channel basically, so they didn't get the same stuff. Meanwhile, TNA was on free TV, so they were able to watch it there. And I think it's important for someone like Leon to get not only the rub of being the youngest X Division champion ever, but also getting everybody behind him as well. He's a fan favorite. He's a backstage favorite. So it was good. Yeah. People saying it was on Challenge TV channel. There you go. It was free. It was available.
Yeah.
And then AJ Styles comes out in his Get Ready to Fly theme. People were very excited. Jeremy, I think everyone was happy to see him. I think the crowd was ecstatic to see AJ Styles. First time in 11 and a half years coming to a TNA ring. Felt like a bit of closure for him. It was very funny that he's coming out as Leon Slater, still in the ring. Leon Slater is absolutely like losing his shit. He is so excited. Feels like it may have been unexpected. And I think John Alba had mentioned there was multiple ideas bandied about for what AJ Styles may be doing during Slammiversary. And I guess they landed on this one. And so he comes out, he puts over Leon Slater, rightfully so, calls him the future, really says, thank you, TNA, for giving me the opportunity to come back. And meanwhile, the crowd's chanting, one more match. He's like, we'll get to that. Well, they didn't get to that. Instead, they just kind of kept going with the promo, and then he finished and walked out, and that was it. No run-ins, no physicality, no nothing. We sat here on Friday and said they opened up the big box, and his gear was inside, and he didn't do the gear thing.
I was surprised that when he came out. I mean, everyone saw my reaction video. I don't know if everyone saw it, but
a lot of people have seen it, including people that you don't think should see it who have seen it.
Oh, really?
I've sent it to people.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me about this.
I will tell you.
All right.
I will put it like this. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that this video makes it on Thursday. You wanted to do it, and I want to make sure that you get exactly what you deserve in this case.
I do.
I know. I'm being honest. I'm being a good friend.
Yeah, it's not like I'm trying to hide it. I'm like, oh, nobody sees it. No, I posted on social. I had the Fightful account retweet it. I posted it as a short. So yeah, it's not like I don't want people to see it. So I appreciate it. Like, that was legit though. I was like working, and then I hear the music, and I'm like, oh, what? I'm not expecting AJ Styles at this time to come out. Like, that was a legit reaction.
That's very funny.
And then I went into my full reaction. But yeah, that part was very legit. The over the top was the over the top part of it. Like, it was fine. He came out, he put over Leon Slater. It felt like a closure thing. It felt like we know we can get you AJ Styles. We will give you AJ Styles, but he ain't gonna like do anything. He's just gonna say nice things and put over Leon Slater. And then they'll have Leon Slater lose on Thursday because this company's dumb as hell.
Just ridiculousness. I did not understand it. And again, this is the number 3 thing after being the number 1 promoted appearance. And he did the other things that absolutely undercut it. I think that's what kind of gets to me most. And we talked about it on the post show. Jensen didn't necessarily agree. He was still like, AJ Styles showed up. That was great. I'm such a big fan of that, and I love it. And like, good. I'm glad. If that sticks in your head as like one of the best things about the show, and you continue to think about that, great. The way I saw it was like, they did what they did in the main event with Santana. They did what they did with the Hardys and Bully Ray coming out. And that happened, like that had just happened, and then just before that was AJ Styles. So it was like AJ. It was not even a shit sandwich, because at least AJ would have been in the middle. Instead, they stacked the sandwich. It was AJ on the bottom, and then they did the stuff with the Hardys and Bully, and then they did what they did with Santana. And at that point, it was like, well, we just kind of did that. All right. Yeah, Ken Bruno saying, I appreciated AJ doing a good job of quelling that one more match chance if he was going to revisit it later in the promo. And like, you know what? We talked about it. He very well might wrestle at Bound for Glory, because God knows they're trying to build it on nostalgia. They might just do Kazarian and AJ Styles. And I don't know if that's great, but like, that could be what the match is. And Kazarian's upset, and here it is, AJ Styles, to hear damn. Not saying it's a good idea, not saying it's the right idea, not saying it's happening, but they could easily just get through that.
I don't think he's wrestling in Bound for Glory. I think if he was wrestling in Bound for Glory, they would have built a bigger boat.
Would have built a bigger boat.
Yeah.
Well, let's. I don't even know where to go. Let's talk about the match of the year. Masha Slamovich, JC Jane. This match of the year, friends. I don't want anyone telling you otherwise. I don't want anyone on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't want you telling me otherwise. I don't want anyone telling you that this match wasn't the best match you've ever seen in your life. JC Jane captures the TNA Knockouts World Championship over Masha Slamovich. JC Jane, a double champ. Carlos Silva goes to deliver the belt, and she just rips him away and be like, nope, you're going to smile like a bitch. And then he does, but they get that right off camera real quick. JC and Masha have a pretty solid match. I think the sprint at the finish was good. Especially with all the roll-up counters and into the roaring encore, whatever she calls it, her roaring elbow finish. I thought the match was the best match I've ever seen ever in professional wrestling, and no one can ever tell me otherwise. JC Jane is your new double champion for how long? Who knows? I think it's worth noting, in the surrounding features of both of these women, Ash by Elegance has a Knockouts World Title match by winning a Battle Royal, so there's no build there to anything with these two women, but she has it. Meanwhile, JC has Blake Monroe, Jordan Grace, Jada Parker, Lash Legend all going after her and all calling their shots. There were 5 people versus the one singular Knockouts title match that exists. So it kind of makes sense that JC wins. But a lot of people were upset that Masha lost, especially when she's another native New Yorker. Johnny Rodz was there, her trainer. The last time they used him in a storyline, she beat Tessa Blanchard. So we brought it all back, and She lost. What do you think of this match of the year?
That's a good match. They worked it well, I guess. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It was a fine match. And Jason
Cage match is not a real place. Cage match doesn't exist. Don't listen to Cage match. What are you talking about? Got SP3 in here being like, it's 5.6 out of 10. Well, you know what? It's a 56 out of 10 in everyone else's book. Match of the decade. Better than this Okada and Kenny bullshit. Come on. No flippy dude, just beating the crap out of each other.
It was fine. JC winning is hilarious, but not unexpected because Masha stood tall at the end of NXT. So as we talked about on Wednesday, it's like, oh yeah, JC's probably gonna win this thing. This is another funny thing because I think this is very dumb what they're doing with her on NXT, and by that of, oh, you're the most beatable champion. I think that's so stupid to bring up. What does that do for anybody to call this person the most beatable champion ever? It doesn't help the company because you're saying this person has your top women's title, but she's super beatable. So what does that say about the rest of the roster who can't fucking beat her? It doesn't help her because you employ her and you put the title on her, but she's the most beatable champion. But again, nobody can beat her. It's a dumb tagline to put on somebody, especially it's a dumb tagline to put on somebody who is a fine wrestler, who has experience as a wrestler. If you want to put this, if they did this with Santino, who they plucked out of the crowd, then he won the Intercontinental title and they said he's the most beatable champion, okay, maybe because they got him out of the crowd and he was supposed to just be a fan. JC Jane's been under contract for years. Wrestled on TV for years, been in a kind of a prominent spot with Fatal Influence for years. Why is she the most beatable champion? It's such a dumb nickname to give one of your champions. It's just a dumb nickname to give any of your wrestlers, but it's a dumb nickname to give one of your champions. And now she has 2 titles. Now she's the most beatable champion.
The most beatable double champion. Get it right.
In TNA, who touted their knockouts division as the only good thing about the company for years, which hasn't been true for a little while. And in NXT, which touts their women's division as the only good thing on the brand. But you have the most beatable champion. What's that say about the rest of your division?
How the knockouts division has fallen. And you know what? I love that Gail Kim's been open about this, that she had tried to push before Scott was canned. That they put the emphasis back on the knockouts. She said, Scott knew how to book the knockouts and knew how to tell the stories with them. But there was no building of the knockouts division after Scott left. And there continues to be a lack of build for the knockouts division today. You have the talent. You have people who are willing to go to war for your brand. Not like in the, we're going to war against NXT. No, who want to do the best work that they can possibly do week to week on their shows. But they're just not... They're not doing it. You got Killer Kelly. They brought her in and she did really well with Masha in the dog chain match. Granted, Killer Kelly's just coming off of mat leave, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but you have to give her the reps as well. You've got, I hate to say it, but Ash by Elegance has turned around her character to the point where she is a believable contender because they brought her in and they were trying to make her this goddess-like presentation, but she was comedy. She was always comedy. And now that they finally allowed her to be comedic, she can show a more serious side if they need to. There are women on that roster who can get to that point. Zaya Brookside's another one that they've been trying to build, but they've had some complications, whether it be injury or the story with Rosemary, whatever it was. They've been trying. Indy Hartwell's the next one that they're really trying to build. They've done a pretty good job so far, putting her in prominent positions. She's also a different build than most of the knockouts. She's not short. She's quite tall, and she has the ability. She just is she's a step behind. She's not the best wrestler in the world, but she's doing better as she continues to work it. The knockouts division has potential. They're not going to live up to what they were as most recently as when Jordan was just becoming champion. They're not going to get to that point if they're not going to put the money in to invest in those people. I think Gail said it best. Towards the end of her run, Jordan Grace was a bored champion. Week to week, they were just kind of going through the motions until they got to Masha and Bound for Glory. And that was it. Because they knew she was leaving.
Now they got a beatable champion.
Now they got a beatable double champion who had the match of the year at Bound for Glory. Sorry, at Slammiversary. Can't even remember the shows anymore. They all meld together. Tenders is saying NXT Slammiversary was funny. ROH may come back. No, ROH isn't coming back. Don't think that this is a comeback for Ring of Honor because they're sitting here being like, hey, our next show is on this date. Whoops, silly me. It's a week before. Whoopsie, but you'll all be there, right? Don't tell me that they're coming back. They ain't coming back to shit.
Yeah, ROH isn't. ROH will continue to really strong in-ring wrestling pay-per-views that do not matter on the week to week.
Exactly.
TNA will continue to do
what they do.
Stuff.
What they do.
Hilarious stuff.
The Hardys recaptured the TNA tag team titles. This was not a surprise. I know that I had mentioned First Class coming out and winning this. To me, that was more of a gold watch moment because AJ and Casey Navarro have been really strong on TNA. I think they've both given everything they can and they've been nothing but entertaining. And to me, it was like you can give them that moment and it would be fun. But the story was always the Hardys from the get-go. They had the Nemets win the titles because Jeff couldn't go to Canada and they needed a big draw to go to Canada with. So they picked the Nemets to go together as a tag team. Then they teased the ladder match that they couldn't do because they were going to Canada. And so they had to pay off the ladder match stipulation. I mentioned it from months and months and months ago when they announced this event that they had to have a car crash ladder match of some sorts with the Hardys. This was it. Thought there would be some NXT integration, but clearly not. Instead, you had the Hardys come in and have one weird, fun ladder match because there was stuff that was I've never seen before, stuff I never want to see again in a ladder match. Shout out, I said it on the post show, shout out to Trey Miguel. He unfortunately was not cleared in time to do the show, and instead Myron Reed stepped in his place. It's always fun to see the Rascals together, but it sucks that you can't get all four of them in the same place at the same time. Trey had told me that once upon a time in an interview that you'll never see unless you're a Fightful member that somehow stumbles upon it. That sucks for Trey. I hope he gets well soon. Again, he's been going through so much. He's been very public about what he's been dealing with. So sending my best to Trey, and I know we all are. But the match itself was, again, let's talk about it real quick. The Hardys recaptured the tag titles, and don't worry, guys. AJ Francis has a giant dick, and he's okay.
I feel the finisher's creative with the swinging ladder coming down. I like that. That's something different because you can only do ladder matches and variations of ladder matches so many times, and look, most of them are good, and this one was good, but having something new like that is hard to do. So credit to, I assume the Hardys probably came up with that. That's a
Jeff spot, 100%. Jeff, they've given Jeff free reign to do whatever he wants. Bound for Glory with the painted tables.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
The trippy everything, that was all Jeff. And this time they said, Jeff, what do you want to do? And he's like, helicopter ladder. And everyone was like, what? He's like, trust me. And everyone seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah, that ruled. Oh yeah, the helicopter ladder, it was cool. Yeah, him painting all the stuff at the show, that was hilarious. So it was a fine match. Like, it wasn't anything. They had some good spots, but in all of the ladder matches out there, what happened? Oh, Lana Black's taking a break from wrestling. Oh,
who is?
The former Cora Jade, Elena Black.
Oh, okay. I hope she's okay.
She wrote. Sorry, everybody. Left turn here. Yeah, I'll read what she wrote.
Sure.
She posted this statement on Twitter. I originally had a 10-minute long video explaining where my head's at, and maybe eventually I'll post it, but seems unnecessary for now. I'll keep it short, but I'm going to be taking a break from wrestling for the foreseeable future. It's no longer good for my mental health, and I'll never know if that love for it I once had will return if I don't step away. I'm going to take the rest of the year to take care of me and go from there. I apologize to the fans and promoters who are looking forward to / booked my upcoming appearances. I hope you can understand. To my supporters, thank you. Well, there you go.
Wishing her the best.
Yeah.
Hopefully she is just taking some time off, focusing on herself. Listen, I'll make the joke for everyone. Damn, she watched the TNA show too, got turned off. But the reality is she's decided that she needs to work on her mental health, and I think that's very important. Best wishes to Elena Black.
Yeah, best wishes to her. It's never good when someone's got to step away for their mental health. I know she gets a lot of shit online that she really shouldn't, and I don't understand. I mean, I understand because people are just assholes, and she's a woman, but there's no need for the people who say the things they say to her when they wouldn't actually say that to her face. So just hopefully she's able to take care of herself, and it seems like she's fallen out of love with wrestling in some way. That could be any of number of reasons, and hopefully a break, a reset. Maybe she rediscovers it, or maybe she just decides to do something else with her life that isn't going to take such a mental toll on her.
Absolutely. You want to continue about the ladder match? Is there anything you want to add? AJ Francis is dick and balls.
That performance was hilarious. Not AJ Francis. I mean, it's on. But that performance by the I don't remember their names. I know Tay-Rock was there. He's a battle rapper. That was the one name that I did recognize. Tay-Rock. I don't think he actually performed, but they shouted him out. I was like, oh shit, it's Tay-Rock. We outside. We outside. I thought they were just gonna keep saying that. At least one dude tried to do the verse, but then they just kept saying we outside. I was like, this performance is so terrible. Because they couldn't get the audio lined with what they wanted to say. It was very, you mentioned it, they weren't wearing monitors, and so they couldn't figure out where they were supposed to be. Oh, that was so funny. So funny.
3-0 Black did the performance. Tay-Rock, Lady Caution, Chess, Zach Pascal was a Giants wide receiver, and Kaz Fahimide.
Yeah, Kaz was there. Yeah,
which a lot of people were like, huh? But it made sense if you think about it. But that was the entourage for AJ, and that's something that AJ Francis is gonna do. He's gonna bring out his boys and his girls, and he's gonna have a good time. And he always brings a party when it comes to these matches, and he'll definitely work his butt off to make sure that people have a good time with it.
We outside.
Hopefully Casey Navarro is also okay, because he also took the brunt of that ladder as well. So if he's okay, it'd be very good to know. But we'll find out soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then after they recapture the tag titles, Team 3D's music goes off.
God.
And because of course David LaGreca's there, and Tommy Dreamer is one of the creative guys, and he's there. Because the Busted Open crew is there, of course Bully Ray's there. Of course Bully's there. Well, it's New York. Why wouldn't you bring out Bully? Hell's Kitchen 51, 52, 50, 50, 78, and if this were Taz in 2013, you'd be like, oh, that sounds like his weight, brother. But anyway, Bully Ray comes out. He starts talking, and he keeps talking, and he doesn't stop talking. He's putting over the fact that the Hardys are still doing it in 2025. He's putting over the Kings of the Ladder match that 25 years ago we did this match, and it was here, and it was it was the first ever not even table. It was the first ever tag team ladder match. Blah 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 blah.
Tag team tables match.
Right? WrestleMania 16, 2000. So
what? Where are you at?
What was the three-way tag team table? Oh no, that was a tag team ladder match.
He was talking about the tables match from Rumble.
Oh, Rumble. Yeah,
that was in New York.
Yeah, whatever. Jeff jumped off of the Jeff. That's the thing. They were at UBS. They weren't at the Madison Square Garden. So I'm like, what match is he? Oh, sure. Okay, fine. Whatever. Bully just kept talking to the point where I thought, and God knows I was hoping, because the outcome was not great. I thought he was talking about a Hall of Fame induction for the Hardys.
Oh no!
They're at the beginning of that. Well, I get it, but they were at the end of their contract. They're getting to the end of their contract of the Hardys, and Bully's just out here talking. I'm like, you putting them over to say they're going to go in, and then he's just like, well, what if we have one more in us? And I was like, who? You and who? You and Diva? You and health scared Devon who can't get cleared? What do you mean? Who? What if we do it at Bound for Glory one last time? What if you don't? What if you just don't? What if you turn around, retcon the last 15 minutes of my time, and you go away? Go away. Don't do this match. This is an absolute travesty. The fact that they think this is a good idea is awful, and you know why they're doing this, Jeremy. It's pretty obvious for those who watch all of the shows. There's another company out there who are currently in the process of putting together the third team that were involved in the stories of the fabled Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. Well, they're about to put Cope and Christian back together. And those two guys at least continue to be wrestling, not weekly, but at least frequently in AEW. The Hardys are wrestling frequently in TNA and on the indies as well. They'll take a few dates here and there. The Dudleys, Bully hasn't had, I don't think Bully's had a match since what? 2024? He did stuff with Josh Alexander in 23, which I thought was some of Bully's last good work. And that took a lot because Josh Alexander kept him over. The storytelling was good. And the match was fine.
He had a match earlier he's had a few matches in 2025.
Great. Well, his tag team partner sure as shit hasn't. The last one he had, he barely did anything because he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So what are we doing? Unless they're going to send in Devon's kids, I don't see a reason to be doing this. This is irresponsible, as Ken Bruno's saying in the chat. It's irresponsible. How about we don't?
This is hilarious. This is hilarious that they're doing this. Dude, when Bully Ray's music hit, I was like, oh my gosh. I thought we were going to get them both because,
so did I.
It was the Team 3D music. I was like, oh my, I knew it wasn't a Hall of Fame thing. I was like, no, they're setting up a match. They're going to have to do a match because of reasons. This was so funny. Bully Ray and Devon, Team 3D against the Hardys in 2025. In your promotion. Look, bless the Hardys. They're still super over. Outside of the people in the main event, they got the biggest pop of the night. I won't hear otherwise. They are still very, very popular. So I think there is a spot for them on these shows. They can still go to an extent. Obviously, in these car crash matches, they're willing to do different stuff. Jeff is willing to still fall from things and jump off things, and Matt can do his usual work. So they have a spot in 2025. I don't mind the Hardys continuing to get. Should they be the champions? Maybe focus on some younger talent, but can they be in the title picture mix? Yeah, sure. Again, they're over. This is not a case of, well, no one cares about them, so why are they there? No, they're legitimately. They might be the most popular act on a week-to-week basis in the company. I think Santana is about the only other person who has that argument right now. It used to be Hendry had that argument, but that's waned.
Sorry, I'm going to point out, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Hendry, the Hardys, they were the moneymakers for the company.
Yeah.
And I'll take no slander for the Hardys because they do it. Hendry is still incredibly popular with the crowds. He's incredibly over with the people who come to see him. Santana is absolutely on the way to becoming number one if he hasn't already gotten there. But if you want to talk the 1A of TNA, it's the Hardys and Joe Hendry. Continue.
Yeah. So they got a spot. Fine. But Bully Ray inserting himself. And they're gonna do a car crash match. They're gonna do a tables match in LOL. I hope Bully can go through a table because I don't think Devon should be going through a table.
God, no.
Oh, it was 25 years ago. It's cool to move on from it. You know what I mean? It's okay if we're moving on and we're not just going to do this from 25 years ago. We can let that be. And we can all move on. But everybody wants a retirement match now. Everybody wants to do one last match because that's a thing. I blame Conrad for all of that, honestly.
Fuck. I went back because I was compiling all the interviews that I've done both solo and on In the Weeds, and I came across Ric Flair's last match. I think that thing has over maybe it's either 13 or 31. My non-dyslexia is going to get to me. But that Ric Flair's last match post show that Kate and I did has a ridiculous number. over on our main channel. But yeah,
I believe it.
By the way, you know that we've done, you and SB3 have done a ton too, but like you and I have done almost 90 interviews on this show since inception.
What? I believe that. I mean, we've
done a lot. We have. And there's some that I didn't cut, and there are also some that you and SB3 did. So those aren't on my reel, but there's a bunch of you and SB3 did. So we're well over 100 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to throw in like spotlighting. I've done a ton of interviews.
Oh yes, yeah. You get to the point where you're like, do I do anything? And then you're like, oh no, I do too much.
I know I do a bunch of interviews. I not only do the interviews, a bunch of articles go up from these interviews too. So I know I do way too much. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah, it's fully Ray.
The Dudleys in 2025.
Yeah.
It's so, I'm looking at this, and yes, so Team 3D came back together at Impact 1000. That was in 2023. They did a Desi Hit Squad match, which was mostly just schmaz, so that Devon can lift them up and do the Team 3D. They could do the 3D. They did Team 3D versus Onita and Dreamer at the BCW show in 2024. Okay, that's a show that happened at the 2300 Arena. None of these matches have gone over 10 minutes. They did a 6-man tag team Extreme Rules tables match, which I don't know why Extreme Rules tables match exists. I assume it's you put your opponents through a table and that's how you win the match. It was Elijah and Team 3D against Kanan Christopher, Derek Dillinger, and our pal Wes Barkley. That's a match that happened. And of course, Team 3D and Elijah won. This was 2024. This was April 2024. We have not seen Devon Dudley compete since then.
For good reason.
For a very good reason.
He was at the NXT 2300 allegedly moving on that show. He was looking rough on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was looking pretty rough on that show. So, yeah.
They think that this is a good idea. Someone backstage, Tommy Dreamer, thinks that this is a good idea.
I think Bully thinks it's a good idea.
Bully thinks it's a good idea, but like the guy who gets to say yes or no is his best pal. And I think it's time to start having a real conversation about the booking of TNA if we haven't already been doing it for the last year. It's becoming egregious at this point. And for the amount of people who are like, let it play out, buddy, I could have told you that last year, and we did it, and we let it play out until the wheels came off the Joe Hendry train, and they did it the awful time. I
think the Joe Hendry thing proves the point. Yes, they should have gone with him at Bound for Glory last year, and they waited too long, and then what happened after that? And look, his reign wasn't good. It was not only like the reactions were dying down a little bit, it was also they booked it like shit. So his reign wasn't good. But they also just missed the high mark of it. And then the crowd stopped caring. And then he got the title and was like, oh, okay, cool. It feels like it's a month or two too late here. But I'm glad he got the title. And then the reign was what it was. Again, it wasn't good. But when you miss the high mark, you lose fan investment. And then even if the reign isn't good, like maybe the crowd's still behind him, but the crowd wasn't behind him anymore at that point. Like, yeah, he got a big reaction at WrestleMania and everything. We lost in 3 minutes. Like, that didn't do what they want to claim it did for them at WrestleMania. It just, they're too busy caring about the WWE partnership and nostalgia. That's what they care about. That's what they think is going to get them, and it might get them this TV deal, and then the TV deal comes, and then what happens? I don't know. We'll see what it airs on. Maybe they get on Tubi, although Evolve's on Tubi, so they're probably not going to be on Tubi.
Maybe they'll get on A&E. Oh, wait. LFG's on A&E.
Can't do that. That's not lasting forever. I mean...
Who knows, brother? Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see if they get some type of deal out of this. And then if they do, everyone will say, well, this was a success because they got a TV deal out of it. It's like, all right, sure. Maybe it was because they did get a TV deal out of it. And be like, well, look, the partnership paid off. Like, all right, I guess it did. That's going to be their big celebration. I do hope they get a TV deal. I legitimately do. I don't want the company to fail or anything like that. I do want the company to be better and not rely on performers from 25 years ago for a nostalgia pop. And I want the company to hit their high marks. And they don't do that.
Yeah. So I'm going to hit the last thing because he's a friend of the show. And because he's been on a handful of times. And because we like him. And because we actually asked him this in an interview that we did with him recently, where he spent more time talking about Cosbying than he did his international title.
Yeah.
Steve Maclin.
Sorry, Steve.
he did it to himself. Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin has the only title that was not defended last night on the show. They even pointed that out in commentary. The workhorse title that they just created, the international title, which is now the only international title in wrestling, and we don't have to worry about the lane to an AEW international title, whatever it is. So Maclin doesn't have a match one-on-one. Instead, he's put in a three-way. In a six-man tag. There's 3 on each side. He's put in a 6-man tag against 3 guys from Fourth Rope, West Side Guns promotion. Enzo Amore is there, now Real One. We'll get to that. Zilla Fatu, who's the champion there over at Fourth Rope, and Joshua Bishop, who's a former champion of Fourth Rope. And Real One's got the flyweight, whatever the hell they're calling it, title. And then they're going up against Maclin, Mance Warner, and Jake Something. Those 3 guys had just had a triple threat match for Maclin's international title. Maclin retained. We thought they were going to go to Maclin and Something, and instead they're doing this. Steve Maclin, who has the international title, has never defended it internationally, has been wanting to defend it internationally, has been wanting to go out and put on banger matches, but gets stuck in a 6-man tag on the Countdown show in a match that lasts less time than the promo that the asshole who got the pin at the beginning of the match got. To the point where I saw Ken in the chat mention it earlier. Maclin was yelling to Ingrid, who's the floor producer, being like, time, he's going long, because that's what Enzo does. And because he's Enzo and he's stuck in 2016 and he can't get a new gimmick to save his friggin' life, he's sitting there doing, my name is, and he has to have the crowd yell Enzo Amore because legally he can't go by that name. And so he has to go by Real One, but they can't call him Real One and he can't do NZO, so he's got to do the fan trickery, kind of like Cody and Brandy Rhodes in AEW. He has to play that role. And he goes off and he just talks in circles for the next this is real talk, 5 minutes. And it goes nowhere. And it was awful. It made no sense to have him do this, other than the fact that it's New York and blah, blah, blah. And then the fans, sure, whatever. The fans like, I love Enzo. It's like, he's stupid. And then he gets the pin in this match, pinning Jake Something, in a match that I want to see literally everyone but Real One involved in a match against each other for the international title. I want to see Maclin against any of those 4 other guys in this case. I want to see them go up and beat the shit out of it. I want to see Jake Something and Joshua Bishop beat the shit out of each other. I want to see Zilla Fatu beat the shit out of everyone. I want to see that. But now we're going to have to sit through Enzo friggin' Amore and Steve Maclin in a match that nobody wanted, and we're going to have to see. What are they doing? What is this?
This is when you knew this night was going to be awful.
Yeah, this set the tone.
Because Enzo does a promo that's longer than the match, and then he still wins the match. And it's like, oh boy, Fourth Rope. They fleeced TNA on this deal. You had these guys beat one of your champions. I know he didn't take the pin, but one of your champions, and then Jake Something and Mance Warner. You had Enzo, who, okay. Zilla, I know that he's very protected on the indies, and you're trying to, like, he is who he is. And then Bishop, who we love, he's been on this show, he's been on Spotlight. Like, protecting him, it's, like, fine. But, like, Bishop can probably take a loss, honestly. But Enzo should have been the guy to take a loss. Like, you do these paid-for advertisements, so what are we getting now? We're going to get just more Fourth Rope. We're going to get Enzo and Maclin. I hope Maclin beats him in, like, 20 seconds, because that match should not be an actual match. But It probably will be because TNA.
Because TNA.
Real quickly, I know we're basically done with this show, but for the people who are also like, oh, well, they can hold off and they can make it Cody at Mania, Hangman at All In. Again, the people who I don't think actually care are just saying stuff. This also goes for them. The people who I don't think actually care and they're just saying stuff. The whole TNA invasion of WWE. TNA wrestlers are going to be pissed now because Trick's the TNA champion and JC Jane's the women's champion. So now we're going to get TNA wrestlers invading WWE, which is really NXT because these people ain't showing up on the main roster. Isn't that what they're doing? Aren't they all like TNA talent's already on NXT every single week? Santana and Hendry have wrestled more on NXT than they have on TNA. I feel like the System just showed up on NXT television to attack Darkstate. Masha was just on NXT to beat Jason. Like, what are we talking about? An invasion angle? Who's gonna invade? Every time they come, they get beat on NXT, and when they do win, then they just get beat on their own shows. What is this invasion? Who's invading NXT from TNA? Who is a credible invader from TNA? Serious question. Like, who can show up that hasn't already been on NXT television and be like, oh, now you guys screwed up. This guy is here. Who can do it?
That guy. He should just wear the robe again. Trick Williams is wearing the Booker T robe. Shout out to him. He was wearing his TNA robe. But so what's funny is, like, I'm gonna say Jake something, but the problem is they haven't done anything to.
He just got beat by Enzo
again. Like, if you let me finish my sentence, from the looks test, Jake something. From the we just had you job to Enzo. Yeah, not Jake something. I fully agree with you. My point is, like, from a looks department, if you didn't know and you hadn't seen, that's a guy that you can do it with. But they can't because they've treated him like utter garbage. Mance Warner is crazy enough. You put those two together and you have them run roughshod over NXT, you can get away with some shit. But unfortunately, they did exactly what they did, and they just don't care. So, like, you know what? This is gonna. The problem is, like, no, this isn't me being a Maclin homer because I'm gonna completely turn it around on myself in a second. You could argue Maclin should go back and say, like, I have unfinished business here, but also I'm fully TNA. He's been playing up I'm the last TNA champion. I'm the real TNA champion. He's been playing that up. You can have him come in and wreck house, but he's not anywhere in that story, and they're not letting him in to be that story. So, like, what's the point? No one's going to lead a charge. No one gives a shit enough to do it. And they're not going to let TNA get a leg up on this. Yeah. And if they do it, I'm going to rewind for a second. Gail Kim, God bless this woman. Mike Santana will get his very deserved moment one day. It's inevitable. I think the boat was missed last night, but hopefully I'll be proven wrong in the future. I genuinely hope to be wrong. And then someone replies about, like, yeah, let it play out type of thing, and talk about things being him having meaningful matches and having a first meaningful title reign. And Gail Kim replies, meaningful? He's been on fire for a while in front of the biggest crowd they've had in quite some time and in his hometown. Pretty sure the moment couldn't have been topped emotionally. Like I said, hopefully I'm proven wrong and they turn this into lemonade. Well, Gail, I agree with you, but unfortunately the lemonade isn't in Lowell. The lemonade was last night at UBS Arena on Long Island. It was lemonade in Long Island, and you soured it. You put way too much shit in it, and now as a result, you got what you got, and it ain't good.
They're not gonna do an invasion, and if they do, they're not gonna do it well. You know why they're not gonna do it well? Because they have no great track record of an invasion when the invading people work for a different company that is beneath them. They don't have a great track record of invasions when they have the talent under contract when it's their talent, but they were perceived as being from another company. And we saw how that went. And that's not just a WCW thing. That's when the NWO invaded WWE, how'd that go?
A lethal dose of poison.
They don't do a good job with invasion angles. They don't do a good job with that. Like when NXT had to invade the 1 week because everyone was in Saudi. That was a good show. But like, what did it actually lead to? Some matches, and then in the end, WWE. I mean, I guess NXT won at that Survivor Series, but what'd that do for everybody? They don't do invasion angles well because they see one of the companies as beneath them, and they don't do vigilante stuff well because they have the idea of, cause chaos, and then it seems cool, and then they have no idea where to go from that because they're afraid to actually like beat people and put titles on people. I was wrong on Dark State, everybody. I was completely off the mark with them. It's not that I had hopes for them. It's that I didn't mind them and their presentation as much as everybody else. I was like, oh, you know what? It seems like, dude, they're going after champions. It seems like that. Nope. They had no idea what they were doing. They were like, oh, we got some cool, spooky spotlights, and they are fine talkers, and they seem to have a purpose. But then they're afraid to just beat people. They weren't going to take the title off Obafemi. They weren't going to take whoever the North American champion was at the time. They're just afraid to beat people. They wouldn't even beat Hank and Tank. That was the point. You couldn't beat Hank and Tank and put the tag titles on Dark State when you had it. No, they just won't do it. They're terrible at that stuff. So if they do an invasion angle, which I don't think they're going to do, mind you, I think people are just theorizing like, oh, well, TNA's got to get their lick back. They got to invade now. They got to be so pissed off that two of their champions, their two top champions, are NXT talent. Like, oh, all right. Santino's going to show up on Tuesday.
Yeah, serious ass Santino.
He's going to be pissed off, and all it's going to lead to is TNA talent and NXT talent on the live episode of Impact. And the TNA talent will probably lose.
I love this. Lawrence saying the big reveal, Santana's actually from Lowell. He's going to come out wearing Red Sox jerseys from now on. And say, I told you, Boston Bull and Mike Santana, don't listen to my accent. Ken Bruno says, unfortunately, TNA just now feels like NXT guys and gals that will be in NXT and the talent there to get those folks seasoning. And like, it's a good point. We talked about this, Jeremy. It's a place for NXT's younger, newer talent to get reps in a different but familiar environment, and a safe one at that. And then you got a bunch of TNA talent at the top of the roster who are getting free looks by WWE to then come in if they so choose to do it. That Mike Santana got looked at once, and they're like, "Oh shit, where has he been?" It's like, really? You haven't? This is the guy that you haven't been looking at, despite the fact that he has been on a roll since he left AEW. You weren't looking at this guy before. The guy who said, "I'm coming here because I want to be here, not because I need to be here." That's the guy you suddenly give a shit about? Come on, what are we doing? What are we doing here? And so Drew brings this up, and he's being tongue in cheek, and I'm going to read it out. He says, "But remember, it's all about the attendance record and potential new TV deal. Think about the business. It's the only metric that matters according to very real TNA fans." So this is and again, Drew, I'm not picking on you. I think this is something that's very important to point out, because there are people who really do think this way, and there's an issue with those who are thinking this way. There have been TNA fans since day one who have rode the wave up and down a billion times, the cockroach company that is TNA. And now that's a loving compliment in a lot of ways, because they've survived 23 years of being almost closed down, almost torn apart. They've been sold multiple times. They've had multiple representation over the years, and they've continued to survive, and they've continued to, in some ways, thrive, never financially, but they've continued to find ways to survive. With that, and with what's going on now, come diminishing returns. The diminishing returns is that a lot of those fans who thought that last night's show was going to be about TNA and about being a TNA fan got completely hosed. And those people are less and less willing to come back. And those are the people who are the most vocal about why they love TNA and why they care about this as the alternative. And now I was getting super chats last night, people saying, watch since day one. I watched with my dad. I watched with my family. We watched since the Asylum days. This is the last straw for me. I'm very serious about the conversations that are going to be had about whether or not I want to continue covering TNA, because on multiple levels, it is not proving to be very well worth it to me. It is to our website, which is why, again, there are going to be conversations about where this can go, but they're not doing a very good job of wanting people to stick around and wanting people to buy into TNA, because right now it really feels like WWE bent them over and they're saying, please, sir, may I have another? And that doesn't look good. And it doesn't make anyone who likes TNA as a challenging brand, not a challenger brand, there are plenty of those, but as a challenging brand, they don't like that they are being played to in their face. And it doesn't work. You can't come out of a show like this with the feelings that you have and expect this to turn into more people at your next big show. It's not how it works.
There's also the diminishing returns of these TNA talents are on NXT every week, so why am I going to tune in to watch TNA when I see them appear in NXT? And this has hurt NXT, I think, because you're mixing in TNA talent. You're throwing in Evolve talent now. You're throwing in LFG talent. And it's like, all right, can we just get like NXT people and just have like an NXT brand, which apparently doesn't exist anymore? But when you just continue to mix all of this stuff, people are going to stop watching certain things. It's like, oh, I don't need to watch this show because I see them here. I don't need to watch TNA. Joe Hendry and Mike Santana are on NXT television every week. And they're doing better stuff. At least they're involved in stuff against the main player. Where on TNA TV, they're just fighting each other. It's like, why do I need to watch this when I'm already seeing them on NXT television? Yeah, you run off your fans. And it's sad because TNA used to mean something.
It did.
The ring had 6 sides.
And so did my feelings. Someone in the chat saying Bully claimed Bound for Glory will outsell Slammiversary. That's their hope. That is their hope. They're hoping that the nostalgia will outsell Slammiversary, because suddenly, this is another thing I've noticed. It's suddenly the conversation switched from how does TNA do year over year, and now they're more worried about show over show when it comes to pay-per-view. And I don't know when that conversation changed, but they are certainly now putting more emphasis on how they're doing immediately and not how they're doing year over year. Because the conversation around Slammiversary was always, how do we beat last year's number 4,100, 4,400, whatever it was? How do we beat last year's number in Montreal? They found a way to do it. AJ Styles did a huge job on that. And of course, they did a lot of media integration in New York, and then with everyone else that Santana went and spoke to, and other people as well. Then they beat it. And then suddenly it was, we're going to beat the all-time record because we want to erase the 2013 record. So if Bully's going to say that Bound for Glory will outsell Slammiversary, yeah, that's what they want. That's what they're going to use as their narrative. And then they're going to say, we did bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't know how many things you can continue to bust out until you finally bust. Bringing the Dudleys and the Hardys together for a match, sure, okay, that'll get some people. AJ Styles potentially having a match, but nobody really knows for sure. That's probably going to do it. Sure, that's fine. But after everyone goes away, after those matches happen, well, you got to work to Genesis or whatever your January pay-per-view is going to be.
Are they going to do better?
They're hoping, because they're in a larger arena. Like, they're not a larger, but they're in an arena that accommodates more than they had at Slammiversary. The Tsonga Center. Let's take a look.
That's not as big as UBS.
No. Okay, so their capacity is about 7,000.
Yeah.
So can they beat what they did? No.
No.
They'll find a way to tell you they did once they count the concession stands and the people working, which, again, I'm expecting they're going to do.
Sure. But they legitimately... I mean, everyone knows the capacity is less than 65. So you can't lie.
Remember, you're putting seats on the floor, too.
Sure. But even if you lie you're gonna say that no, I don't think they're gonna sell. I don't think they're selling out this building anyway. I mean, they're running a smaller arena. UBS is again a hockey arena. That's where the Islanders play. This is where University of Massachusetts play. This is where I think the women's hockey league team plays. It's a smaller venue. That's like I said earlier. They know they're not going to beat Slammiversary. They can claim that they do, but there's a reason why they ran a smaller venue. It's because they know that they aren't going to beat Slammiversary. They got time to build it. Maybe they get there. I don't know. I mean, it's not till October, right? Like, you got 3 months on this thing. And you ran off a bunch of people here. You're going to do 3 months of television to try to do this build where most of it's taped. I don't think they have an AJ match because, like I said earlier, if they did, they would have booked a bigger venue knowing they had an AJ match. I don't think they have that. Maybe they get it, but I don't think they have it for right now. I don't think they're beating.
I'm sorry. I'm going to point out the building capacity. They say it's 6,500 for hockey. They say 7,800 for concerts. Wikipedia has, with a go to the Tsonga Center website, they say 10,000 for wrestling. So but on their website that I'm seeing, they're saying 7,800 for concerts, and a concert wrestling is about the same in terms of the floor plan. So you can go for it. You even one is good enough for them. So sorry, I just wanted to point that out because it is part of a larger conversation.
Okay. I don't think they're beating what they did at Slammiversary. They put so much into Slammiversary. New York market as well. Like, they're going to have the Hardys out there doing a bunch of promotion. They'll have them, maybe they'll get the first pitch at the Red Sox game because they got the first pitch at the Mets game. Although baseball will be over by that point. I guess they have September.
Playoffs.
Yeah, they ain't doing first pitch for the playoffs.
No, I'm saying they're not going to get that. They're not going to get that.
Yeah. So you're going to get it like maybe a month earlier at the end of the regular season, potentially. And hockey season will have just started, so maybe you can get some interaction with the Bruins, but it's not the same venue. And like you mentioned, Boston is 40 minutes away from Lowell. And look, people can drive and stuff. You can still, I'm not saying you can't do promotion with the Bruins and everything, but much different than you had people appear at the Islanders games and it was the same venue. And WWE's running 2 months earlier. Granted, it's 2 months. That's plenty of time. But there's a very real thing of, oh, I'm going to this NXT show. Why am I now going to spend money 2 months later to go to this TNA show? There's going to be priorities, and people are going to prioritize the NXT show over the TNA show that's running in the same central location in 2 months. They're not out doing Slammiversary. They might lie and say they out do Slam. They're not out doing Slammiversary.
Did they ever work? Did the Hardys ever work Motor City Machine Guns? Like lately? No, I don't think they ever did. That's the match you could have done
for
Bound for Glory.
Oh,
you could have done it last year in Detroit.
Oh, sure, but
sorry, I'm looking at chat and I'm thinking about it. I promise, I'm not despondent. I'm actually thinking. I'm looking at stuff.
Right. What are you doing?
I'm doing a lot of things. Yeah, but again, like, I don't know what they expect. I mean, I know what they expect. I don't know how they're going to get there. And then at the end, they might get there and we'll be like, oh my God, they did it. Good for them. But like, it's not. It's just not. It's not what it's supposed to be.
They're not doing bigger at Bound for Glory than they did. We'll see what what NXT does here in a month. They're not outdrawing NXT.
Most likely not.
So NXT will be the barometer. If NXT can do, let's say 5,000, then all right, that's half that, and that's what TNA is doing.
There's your ceiling.
Yeah.
Again, like off the backs of a lot of big announcements, they made 7,600 happen. Okay, I will not take that away from TNA. They had to pull a lot of strings to get there. Now they have to either find a way to get above that or understand that what they did last year is what they should be shooting for, is one ticket more, like every year, one ticket more than the attendance you did the year before it. That's the goal, year over year growth, not show by show, because you're just going to throw everything at the wall way too quickly to try and figure it out. And then it's going to happen. And guess what happens? You figured out something to fill the building, and then you got to think about the next show. And you're not going to get John Cena. You're not going to get John Cena and Joe Hendry, despite all of his opportunities to tell you every time he could, I want John Cena. It's like, no, you're not getting John Cena. Stop it with this manifesting shit. It worked for a few things, but it ain't going to work for this. Great. Now it's going to be John Cena versus Joe Hendry at Bound for Glory, and we're all just going to have to sit there and eat the shit sandwich. Well, I'm going to have to sit there and eat the shit sandwich. Tenders are saying, I was so hopeful for the rebrand. Then WWE came. And that's fair. And there's a whole whack of conversation with the rebrand stuff and Scott and like what did and didn't work and what continues to work and what doesn't work. And like, yeah, I don't know. You know when it all went down the shitter, Jeremy? Sunday morning when AJ Styles retweeted that Chat GPT photo.
Oh,
that's when it all went down.
That sucked.
Henry saying, why would I care? You're not watching TNA anymore. That's a good point. I was thinking about that as I said the words. Yeah. It's become so ingrained in my brain to talk about TNA that I don't know if we're going to do it. But
I spent way too much time on TNA today. But they had their best pay-per-view ever. So good on
biggest, them. That's for sure. That was their biggest. All right. Well, we have a short if we're not going to do the anger, the rage bait. Tenruz also sent a super chat saying AEW announced St. Louis for Wrestle Dream on October the 18th. All Elite Wrestling earlier today had announced St. Louis big news as reported by St. Louis Business. Was that at St. Louis Business? The Business Journal. The St. Louis Business Journal. Let's go backwards. St. Louis big news as first reported by St. Louis Business Journal. Wrestle Dream will be Saturday, October the 18th at the Heifetz Arena or the Chaffetz Arena, depending who you are. I'm a Jew, so Heifetz. In St. Louis, Missouri. Tickets go on sale July 28th. I'm sure not to be outdone. NXT will announce Halloween Havoc on October the 18th. Who knows where it'll be, but it'll be a Saturday.
LOL. They'll run it in LOL.
What other venues in St. Louis could they run? The venue where they did the other show, not the Enterprise Center, though they would try it. They'll run the 777 venue or whatever they called it.
Oh, sure. I don't know.
Who knows? Either way. All right, Wrestle Dream has been announced. Now, I think now that Tony realizes that he's doing okay, he's like, I can come out and announce some things. What's WWE going to do?
Tony tweeting 1 minute after that TNA show. Thanks to all the great fans. We're coming off a great All In, and it was a great run of shows and tremendous success. Cackling Tony's timing on that. Tony watched that show and saw Carlos Silva with his head down and was like, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me pull up, shoot, and get this one out there.
He's gonna wear. He's gonna show. He's in Chicago. He's home, so he can have the hat done in an hour. He's gonna come out wearing an AEW block letter hat on Thursday, or sorry, on Wednesday. Oh, it's gonna be AEW, and it's just gonna say All Elite Wrestling and just a black trucker hat. Hilarious.
Tony rules.
Tony, give him this. It was very funny. When he plays the game, he knows it. Like he's having a good time. He's doing well. His company's doing well, so he's going to do this and he's going to have fun with it. Good. Glad he's doing it. If something goes wrong with this company again, he's going to start replying to things.
Yeah, that rules too.
That's going to be the other side of it. And I always remind people, I'm like, this is hilarious. It's equally hilarious when the other side of the coin flips. But I think last night he's a little troll. He's a little troll, and it was very funny to watch him do it.
Great.
He was very good.
He's the best. He's over here. He can control when things are going well, and then can be angry and troll when things aren't going well. Rules either way. And I flat out, I quote tweeted and I said, "Not now, Tony. I'm having feelings." You are having feelings. You got to figure out your life moving forward with no TNA. Just put me on Fridays, brother. Yeah, me and Kate back together again. That sounds terrible. You want to talk about Friday? Or should we talk about not Dynamite? Should we talk about Collision for a couple of minutes? Collision was a fine show. I hope Colton Gunn is okay. That's all.
It was an innocuous jump. That's what sucks about it more than anything.
Yeah.
It's never something completely, like, it's never a crazy bump. It's always jumping up in the air and landing wrong. And I think that sucks. It sucks when any injury happens, but when it's something so ridiculous. So we hope Colton Gunn's okay. Sucks that he had to get taken out of the match. And that was just a jumping up on Bill. That's how it happened. I thought Megan Bayne and Ty Mello was a fun match. I need Ty Mello to stop doing the how am I going to beat this person face. She continues to do the angry. That's like the last thing she learned in WWE that she carried with her. I need her to get rid of that face because she's been doing it every match she's in. But otherwise, the two women went ham. Like, they had a great match. I thought this was more of a we're back for Mello, for Ty Mello, who has been on and off. So it's good stuff. Are we doing a dog collar match between Hangman and Moxley? They're using that chain. It's now become a bigger part of the story. They used it to choke out Colt Cabana.
Colt Cabana he's like, finally gonna be on television. Killed. Chicago
wrestling legend Colt Cabana.
Get fucked, Colt Cabana is what John Moxley said.
CM Punk's watching the show and he's just like, and then he just turned it off.
I felt bad for Colt Cabana.
Okay.
You knew when he came out there, it's like, why is Colt out there? They don't use him for, okay, Chicago, like, fine, but what's Colt doing out there? It's like, that's why he's out there. He's there to get legit murdered. That's unfortunate. Does Hangman care that much about Colt Cabana? Like,
well, the honestly, Dark Order stuff. There's a Dark Order connection there.
Oh.
And then they also did a backstager where Dark Order came to console Colt. So like there is a bit there. You got to call back a few years, but like there is a connection between Colt and Hangman.
Yeah. I mean, Hangman's just a caring guy, so like I could just see it like, okay, type of thing. But yeah, the Dark Order stuff just completely escaped my brain that Hangman was like friends with those guys, because more of once Moxley kills the rest of the Dark Order again, then Hangman will care again. So
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
yeah,
that's Dark Order, huh?
I was mainly just thinking of like Colt and Hangman. Like, there's no real connection. Apparently commentary said it was his good friend or something. Like, I watched this show in segments. I went out on Saturday night, and anytime I miss wrestling live, I go back and I just kind of watch highlights of things. I don't go back and rewatch the entire show unless it's something that I really need to pay attention to. So I watch just kind of highlights from Colt Cabana's murder and highlights from the rest of it. So I apologize that I missed stuff from Collision. Okay. Yeah, it was like on television, Hangman and Colt like haven't really been presented as friends. But yeah, there's the Dark Order stuff. So I guess that part makes sense. And once again Moxley starts killing the rest of Dark Order, then Hangman will definitely start caring about that. Colt, I feel like Hangman's like, was he in Dark Order? Was he there? Oh, I guess he kind of was. Okay, sure.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, they were friends. They were Dark Order adjacent.
Yeah.
Colt had he wasn't a number. He was just Colt. It should have been 0. The 0 in the O in Colt should have been it, but they didn't do that. And again, I keep harping on it. If they do Blood and Guts, you can do it as early as the show.
Dark Order's not doing Blood and Guts.
Although it would be funny if they did. I think the beatdown of Dark Order might lead to the Blood and Guts match being announced.
Okay.
Not that Dark Order will be in it, but rather that the saving of Dark Order will bring about Blood and Guts.
Okay.
They go on this tirade, beat up all the just like last time. You need someone to be upset about. You get upset about Dark Order getting beat up.
Dynamite should open with what's her name? The Death Riders. Sorry, blind.
Marina Shafir.
The Death Riders coming in on their truck, and then John Silver's chasing after them. Remember when he ran after the truck in like the early days of the Death Riders? That's how it should open. They pull in and John Silver's just like running after them with the, illusion being he's been running after them for like 8 months now. And then he catches them and Death Riders just beat the shit out of them. But that's how I would open Dynamite.
Perfect. Tenruza thinks they should do TK do the Cena Rumble 08.
That would rule. That's like legitimate one of my favorite moments in wrestling history.
Oh, that's the one with the AEW hat. I swear to God, he just needs to get the stupid hat. If he doesn't, maybe I'll make it for him and for All Out. Be like, Tony, here's the hat. It just says AEW in big block letters. Tender's adding in BT needs to come back now that the Bucks aren't EVPs. I mean, listen.
Nick's got his travel show.
Yeah, they've got the travel show with his wife. You could bring it back, especially now that Ryan Nemeth's not there to do Cream. So, it could be a better show than it was. I don't know. It should build to them bringing back BTE, but we'll see if that's actually something they want to do.
I don't know if they have like a real desire to do it. Maybe they do, and maybe they're not EVPs anymore, they want to. But I just don't know if that's something they have the desire to do and like edit it and everything. It just seemed like it just became too much of a chore, and that's why they decided, we don't feel like doing this.
If we were allowed to take things and make them our own, I would absolutely do this. ITW hat in big block letters.
Uh-huh.
but we're not allowed to pay homage with our merch, so I can't do it.
I feel like we could get away with this.
Yeah, who knows? The Dustin Rhodes promo at the top of the show, thought it was good. I thought, Dustin comes out and he's very emotional, and he does what he needed to do. Got the crowd behind him, got emotional about his parents and all the things that his dad taught him, and talking about all the times he lost TNT title matches along the way. Then he had Kyle Fletcher come out, and of course Don Callis being a piece of shit, do their thing. And I thought it was fine. Again, it's all in service of Kyle Fletcher, which is fine by me. But I thought that this was a great promo from Dustin Rhodes. Really got the crowd behind him here.
Dustin's got to defend the titles a couple of times, or the title a couple of times. He has multiple titles. He's got to defend the TNT. Sorry. He's got to defend the TNT
Another
title.
one? Not again.
He's got to defend the TNT title a couple of times, and then he's got to get murdered by Kyle Fletcher. That's the story. It's very, very easy to do. Let's see if they do it.
I hope they do. Just at the end of the Chicago residency.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Kyle Fletcher walks into Philadelphia for the next residency as the TNT champion? It's perfect. He's the king of Philly. That's the way you do it. Speaking of kings that need to go away, Billy Gunn, Anthony Bowens, they need to stop this. They need to stop. I think this is turning into Billy Gunn turning on Bowens, because he said next week he's got someone for him, someone to face that he could do. And I think it's going to end with Bowens losing and then Billy walking off with whoever he brought out. I don't know who that is. That's the only thing. But it feels like it's the end of the road. I hope it's the end of the road.
I hope it's Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn's like, you're facing me, and he hits him with the famous air, and he just pins him.
You know what? I would not put it past Billy to do that.
That would rule.
I would love it to be Bowens turning heel, but they think he's a white meat babyface. But it should be Billy Gunn. It should just be Billy. I think it'd be absolutely hilarious if he just beats up Bowens.
Bowens turning heel just kind of shows like they didn't quite know what they were doing.
Yeah.
With him, and it's like, oh well, let's heel turn this and try to give him some heel fire out of this. And I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, because sometimes you got to pivot when things aren't working, and I don't think the Bowens babyface run is working, but it just goes to show that they didn't have an idea for him of what he is as a babyface. The fact that they would have to pivot this way at him as a heel. So
I am curious because of Colton's injury. I'm wondering if they tape this after the injury and maybe they decided that it's going to be Austin who comes out with Billy, and it's going to be Austin Gunn taking on Bowens. But again, I think the story would be Bowens is expecting Billy to get him someone that he could beat, but it's going to turn out to be Billy. I think that turns out to be the way. But you can do Austin.
You know who it should be?
Who? Chris Jericho?
Jay White.
Oh yeah.
Jay White's return, Jay White and Billy Gunn aligning after they had that classic match, and then Billy Gunn also turns on Jay White and lays him out, and then Billy Gunn stands tall over the fallen bodies of Anthony Bowens and Jay White, the true star. Billy Gunn is here.
The easy answer is Max Caster. And it's going to be Billy Gunn trying to put Max Caster and Anthony Bowens back together. Just like I've been telling y'all, they want to get them back together. And Billy's like, there's still merch money on the table. And they're just like, no, there isn't. Stop it. And they just walk away from Billy and leave him alone. And then Billy rides off into the sunset, never to be heard from again. No, go home, Billy.
More Billy Gunn.
Go away.
More Billy Gunn.
Go away. Is there anything else from the show that we should touch on that was important for Collision? I know there was a couple matches, but otherwise it was a show with wrestling matches.
I'm sure the chat will be mad at us that we didn't talk about Collision.
Shibata and Roosh had a match that was hard hitting. Good for Roosh finally making his way back on TV somehow. Oh yeah, there's also the balcony stuff. Sure. I mean, Athena cut a good promo. Alex Windsor beat Taya Valkyrie. It's good to see Taya Valkyrie back, even though she lost. She's been on ROH as well, but it's good to see her wrestling again. Alex Windsor's made her official AEW debut, both in singles and she was in the Casino Gauntlet as well. So yeah, good match.
She's been on AEW. She's lost on AEW TV.
Now she's officially part of the brand. Right. She's signed, sealed, delivered. The promo was fine. I mean, I thought Athena and Tony had a good promo. Tony hit the beats. She always does. And then she ran off and chased out Athena from the balcony because only one woman can be on the balcony, bitch.
I watched it in clips. I don't know how the overall show was. It seemed like it was a good show, and I'm sure the wrestling was great because AEW always does great wrestling. No, we don't like wrestling.
I hate wrestling.
What's wrong with you?
Hate it.
I'm really into this Tony and Athena feud. It's been a good follow-up from, Tony and Mercedes. That was a lot to live up to. And jumping right into Athena instead of doing a challenger of the month type thing was a good choice. And Athena can obviously hold her own in any type of feud, whether it be in the ring or on the mic. And we're going to get Tony and Billy this week. We're getting Athena and Windsor this week as well. I think that's a Collision match. So I'm into what they've done with Tony and Athena so far.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Shark Week brings. I like I like that Tony was like, if Billy beats me, she gets a title shot, and Athena being like, no, that wasn't part of my plan. There was some cute stuff, but it wasn't too cute. It was like Tony getting the best of Athena, who was the bad guy, and making it done in like a comedic but still serious way. Thought that was good stuff. They're on a collision course to something good, which makes sense because the show was called Collision. And then there was the 6-man main event, which happened. Mascara Dorada got a win.
And they might do Athena and Tony. I guess it's gonna be Forbidden Door, I would assume.
The Forbidden Door being Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
it's fine. Yeah. Put Billy in the match. Make it a 3-way. That's what I want. Have it be the breakdown of the minions, and then we can do Death Before Dishonor. Death Before Dishonor, and that's where Billy finally gets the championship because of the breakdown.
Tony should show up. What's first? Because I know they moved the date for Forbidden Doors before Death Before Dishonor, right?
By like 4 days.
Oh.
Because I'm pretty sure Death Before Dishonor is now August 29th, and 25th is Forbidden Door.
Okay, so I was gonna say that like Tony should show up to ROH, and Athena. I guess Athena would be the champion, would not be the champion in this case. I was thinking that Death Before Dishonor was first, because then my segment plays out better than if the show was after. Because after this, like, assuming they do Tony and Athena at Forbidden Door, Athena's either won or lost. If she's won, you can still do it. If she's lost, it doesn't make quite as much sense. But anyway, my bit was going to be that Tony shows up to Death Before Dishonor and is like, I stopped doing independent films a long time ago. And that is why she's not wrestling at Ring of Honor.
That's awful. I love it. Tenders is saying Athena and Tony are already fired. This will be so fun. And you know what? It's good. I'm happy that that they're getting it off and that they're having a good time so far. I saw that the reel that got like 30 million views in a day
The
from
Wombstone pile driver.
It's already been taken down. They took it down.
What?
Allegedly, it's been taken down.
Hold on.
The Mercedes stands are pointing it out. I
They
follow
took it
one
down?
Mercedes stan account.
Oh, that's cowardly. Why'd they take it down?
I don't know.
I'm
Here's
looking.
that they took it down.
I'm looking.
All right.
That's so cowardly if they took it down. Why? It had 30 million views. Why would you take it down?
I wholeheartedly agree. If that's the case,
it's not there anymore.
that's upsetting. 30 million views, brother. I got it. Yeah, I got it. I was off by a day, chat. August 24th is Forbidden Door, and then the 29th is Death Before Dishonor. Either way, Forbidden Door is first.
Why'd they take it down?
They probably didn't like the very overt sexual innuendo. Is she biting her crotch?
It was up for days, though.
Was it? I thought it was only up for a day.
No. It was legitimately up, like, all right, maybe it was only a day because they posted it on, like, it's before, like, some stuff from, like, Collision. Like, it was kind of, they posted, like, a bunch of stuff at once. Yeah, it was up for, like, it wasn't buried, but, like, they posted it and then Collision happened, and so then they posted a bunch of Collision stuff. Oh, that's so lame. They're lame for that. Whoever made them take it down, or if they did it on their own volition, they're lame.
Bunch of cowards. Bunch of cowards. Yeah, it was the alternate angle that they posted.
Yeah.
And it got a lot of people watching that particular thing.
Tony Storm rules.
Yeah, it got 30 million views on Instagram in less than a day. This was yesterday. Someone had posted it.
Yeah, Mercedes called out because it was like 3 days of like watch time, and she's like, "Y'all are truly sickos."
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, it's been like downloaded and reposted everywhere 100%. By this point. 100%. But the fact that AEW took it down is what we're talking about.
Very upsetting. Wonder if that was network or if that was a Tony call. Upsetting.
Lame.
Upsetting.
Lame either way.
Right, she was right all up in it. Anyway, yeah, that was Collision. I get it. People, the 6-man tag happened. Jet Speed and Mascara got to win, right? Okay. SmackDown real quick before we get on out of here. Really, the big news coming out of this is that the Wyatts are spooky again.
And they've been spooky.
That's true. Now they're spooky. Are they becoming bad guys? I don't know what they are anymore.
They're just
they're tag champions.
Yeah.
Good for them. Charlexa are still getting over. This is for Alexa Bliss Gamer. They're not fighting each other at SummerSlam, as others had reported. They are, in fact, getting a tag team title match. Although, you know what? There's 2 weeks until the show. Who knows? Maybe they'll break up in the next week and then they'll fight each other.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss was a very good cheerleader, according to many people, including Alexa Bliss Gamer, who's in the chat.
I think they should win the titles. I don't want... Like, there's a possibility that Alexa turns. I think that would be a bad idea. Because even though Charlotte's getting cheered, I don't think she's going to get cheered as like a singles person against Alexa. I wouldn't turn Charlotte because we've seen that. Like, I like them as a tag team and something different for both of them. It seems to be working. Put the tag titles on them and build around that for a little while. That's what I would do anyway. But I do think a turn is a possibility. And I feel like that would be a miscalculation of what people actually want.
And then they should go to TNA and face the Elegances for the Knockouts tag titles. Or the Iconics, the former Iconics, now the Inspiration. There you go. Sure, it was an 8-man tag on Collision. Shows how much I cared. It was the main event. It was a match that happened. Yeah, that was good for them. But yeah, Charlexa, they should be the champs, man. They're gonna be the champs. And then they're gonna go and take those titles all across the 3 brands. Then maybe they'll go to LFG. Build the women's title division there. The women's tag division. I'm all about it. Main event spot, Cody, John Cena. John Cena's tired. I understand this. I fully agree with him. He's tired. He just wants a break. He wants to wait until they can go to Paris, have a nice time. He's burnt out. He just wants to go do college game day, have his time in the sun, enjoy his family, and maybe he'll come back eventually. And Cody Rhodes is like, fuck that shit! Come off top of the table, sign that contract with John Cena's hand, and they're going to do a street fight! And everyone's just like, that escalated very quickly.
Could literally see the moment where they turned.
Saw that tweet. I was like, we are cooked as a storytelling people. Just not having it.
Yeah, that was... So I don't think they were taking a shot at McAfee. But when I heard Cena's promo, I was like, oh, this sounds very similar to what Pat McAfee said. I think they were doing this. I think they were going to do this anyway. And I think it just happened to be coincidental that the language was very similar to McAfee. But I think they were trying to get heel heat on Cena. And this was a way to do it. A legitimate way of, he's burnt out. He's filming a movie, which is legit. And he can't show up. He can't give his best effort. It just happened to be coincidental. McAfee said a similar thing. I could be completely wrong. It could be because WWE is still WWE and they like to do these petty things. But I think they actually like McAfee enough to where they weren't gonna be like, oh, let's make fun of Pat McAfee. I think it was just a coincidence on these things. I could be wrong.
I think they're all a bunch of wannabe alpha male dickheads just wanting to, play with each other's heads. Take that as you will.
What?
Just a polishing a knob job. But anyway, I don't know. It's if they're having fun with it, then they all get it. If there's heat there, then I guess Pat McAfee can beat John Cena for the title. Who knows? Whoever McAfee falls asleep first.
Yeah, maybe McAfee, says something on his show today.
Maybe Joe Hendry comes out and says, "I'm tired too. I want a match with John Cena." And then everyone's like, "Go away, Joe Hendry. You're done. You're cooked. That's it." And then Mr. Iguana comes out and he's like, "Oh, the new guy's here. I like him. Where's the iguana?" Sorry, just having a minute here. The John Cena having to have his signature forged so that they could do this as a street fight. They got to play this out, right? John Cena's got to threaten litigation. They've only got 2 weeks to do it. But he's
not showing up until the
SummerSlam that's right, before. Because he's doing the stupid, because he's doing the movie, which Ken Bruno he mentioned, like the movie's being filmed like 20 minutes from the arena, which is hilarious. So I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but he's burnt out,
He's burnt out. He's tired. He's old. He's tired, and he works with children.
Well, look, I respect that Cena's just like tired and like I can't give my best effort. Like, yeah, that makes sense, John. I've been there. I understand. You got to work with Cody again. Travis Scott's not around to save you this time. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you, John. His man's running hard.
He just needs Bad Bunny in his corner. That's what he needs.
Yeah.
Man would run for him.
I thought it was like a fine segment, and Cody's splash was hilarious with the contract in his hand. Like, why did he need to have the contract in his hand?
Well, so, okay, here we go. This is, once again, Cody logic, just like when we did the why does he look behind him when he does the Cody cutter and jumps off the rope. Here's the Cody logic. If I'm not holding on to the contract, maybe John's going to come too and take it and run away with it. So I have to hold on to it so I ensure that I get what I want, which is me holding John Cena's hand and signing the contract. That is the pro wrestling Cody Rhodes logic for the week.
All right, but if John Cena comes to and then he's moving away from the table and you're going through the table and it doesn't matter if you have the contract in your hand or not, he's going to grab it. So
couldn't tell you. This is Cody Rhodes logic, not John Cena logic. We're just doing what Cody Rhodes is doing here, okay? And Barkov saying it may have got lost or damaged after the splash. No, those tables are pretty weak and those folios are pretty hard. So I think Cody just wanted to do the splash with him holding the stupid the contract.
Just a hilarious visual, him jumping with the contract in his hand. Yeah, it's gonna be a street fight. Of course, you should expect run-ins. It's a WWE main event. Come on, Aaron.
Yeah,
And it's a street fight, so like they're tipping you off that you're gonna get some run-ins.
dude, people are already saying Rock's going to show up because Cody was wearing the Rock's glasses like he was at Elimination Chamber, the big nerdy 70s glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Scott's going to come back. You think that people are already they're already fantasy booking the return of the Rock and Travis Scott.
I've seen the Rock theory because of the watch and the glasses, and he mentioned the Rock, or mentioned the final boss. I've seen that theory. Look, if they got the Rock and they can actually pay off on that, like, great. But I'm not getting my hopes up that, oh, we're definitely gonna get the Rock here. I don't see that coming to fruition at all. Yeah, maybe it does, and if it does, like, cool. The Rock's always hilarious when he returns because he's like, what are we doing? Nah,
not that
doing that. So I hope the Rock does return, but I don't see it. I don't see the Rock actually returning on this. We'll see. But I expect plenty of run-ins and stuff. I hope Cody wins.
Most of the code line is injured right now. That's what sucks. The WrestleMania 40 code line.
Yeah, John Cena doesn't really have any like friends. Who's gonna help John Cena?
Nobody should ever help John Cena. He's burned all of his bridges. That's fine.
What if Roman helps John Cena?
I mean, he could. Who knows? He ain't got much to do. He's got maybe a tag match. We don't know.
I hope Solo helps John Cena, and we will. That's how they tie the Rock back to all of this. Is Solo is part of this? You saw that video that they posted with Solo getting taken away with handcuffs, and Cody's walking by, and he's like, Cody, come on, help me out, come on. And Cody's like, what the hell? Solo's cursing. He's dropping a goddamn and a shit in this video. I was like, this is amazing. Solo's hilarious, dude. It's so funny.
It sucks so bad that people are not on the Solo Sikoa train to enjoy how funny these promos have been with him and like doing the MFT and Jacob Fatu and even Jimmy. Like they found their niche. It's a mid-card comedy bullshit, but like they're having fun with it, and Solo is a great comedy guy. They're doing the cage match that's been announced for SummerSlam, but yeah, it's fun. They've made it a fun story instead of a super serious one, which I like.
Solo, man, we paid them. Like, you just admitted that you paid off cops to arrest somebody.
He just let it all out.
Yeah. It's like, what are they doing? We paid them. Like, dude. Solo is so hilarious. He should get killed by Jacob Fatu in this cage match. It should not be much of a contest, but
yeah,
they're gonna do interference, and it's gonna suck because I hate interference in cage matches. But Solo's definitely like found his niche as like a good like mid-card comedy who can like be imposing because of the people around him. Like, it works.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed what they did on Friday. It's silly when you do the whole whodunit angle with the car crash, but like they made it funny. And also shout out to the cops who didn't show up in like really like brand new shirts out of the bag like they normally do. It looked like the shirts had been worn in for a change, so it didn't look like the cops were just like, you know, clearly indie wrestlers. I like that. I like when they at least put a little reality in it.
Yeah, Solo was great on SmackDown. So that's all. I don't know what else happened from SmackDown. Anything else happen on SmackDown?
That's all we got to really get to. No. Monday Night Raw tonight from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. It's sold out legitimately. So that's a WWE big victory from this big Texas weekend. No one ever outdraws in Texas, but WWE is sold out. Take that as you will. Roman Reigns is going to speak. CM Punk is going to speak. Becky Lynch has a proposal for Lyra Valkyria. Now, I thought Becky was married, and I thought Lyra was also engaged. Is this a thruple, quadruple, quintuple situation?
I don't know. Proposal doesn't be a marriage proposal, Joel.
Well,
there's other type of proposals.
There are other proposals, but you know, it's a bunch of people just having a time. I don't know how these Irish people get down. I don't get it.
Who's gonna make a Coldplay joke, and why is it gonna be CM Punk?
I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know, man. Dude, it's gonna be New Day with Austin Theory and and what's his face?
Waller.
And Grayson Waller. Yeah.
Maybe. Somebody's going to do it, though. Somebody's going to do it on this show.
I hate it. It's fine. Leave it alone.
What is Orton doing?
What do you mean? What's he doing? He's using AI because he's an old man.
But like that wasn't even.
He doesn't know memes. He's just giving it to his wife and saying, "Figure it out, I guess."
That wasn't even like good.
Yeah. Welcome to Randy Orton. Sometimes.
Like that sucked.
You want me to be serious? I'm not at work. I'm not serious when I'm not at work. This is like hey, can you promote the Canelo and Crawford boxing?
That rules.
Put it in your own voice. Randy will just be like, here it is. Just that's it. He's not at work. He doesn't give a shit.
Ray Phoenix continuing the tradition of him and Andrade just copy and pasting the DM. Remember Andrade did that for like the NXT title or whatever? It was like, as a former NXT champion, please give your agents copy and paste it. That was so hilarious. What was his actual tweet? Oh, I gotta find this.
That's Randy. That's all that Randy's doing. He's just like, I can't be asked to do this. I'm not at work. I'm not work Randy right now. I'm dad Randy. I'm gonna go play Call of Duty. See you later. Bye. Oh god, it was awful.
That was so funny when, hey, as a former NXT champion, can you comment on this? NXT is going live on USA Network on Wednesdays. He just copied and pasted the quote tweet. He just copy and pasted the DM, and then he put 3 fists because
that's what he does. That's his own voice. Is 3 fists.
I hope that Phoenix was just like, oh, I'm teaming with Andrade now. Like, I don't think he did this on purpose to put it in your own voice. I think he just, much like Andrade, copy and pasted it. It rules that like it was both of them, and now they're a tag team.
Anyway, so that's what Randy did. Tag team championship, #1 contenders match. The LWO, the Creed brothers, and the New Day have a match. So there you go. New Day's back on Raw. Not just behind the scenes. They're actually going to be in a match. Rusev and Sheamus run it back because I'm sure that'll go 7 before they become a tag team. Banger after banger. Anyway. And Sami Zayn is back. He's going to take on Karrion Kross. Real anticlimactic way to bring back sidelined indefinitely Sami Zayn. Sidelined indefinitely meant 3 weeks for the record.
Well, that's indefinitely.
I mean, yes, it is indefinite. However, typically indefinite means more than just that. Anyway, it's fine. Whatever. Sammy's back. He's going to take on Karrion Kross.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That's Monday Night Raw. I'm sure CM Punk will be talked to by Gunther. I'm sure Roman Reigns will be talked to by Paul Heyman. He'll be interrupted. And I'm sure that the proposal that Becky has for Lyra will be a beautiful ring.
What do we think the proposal is?
We just went through it.
Nah, I feel like Becky's gonna, it's got to be some type of like. But they already did if you beat me, you can't challenge. They did that with Becky and Lyra. I don't feel like they're gonna flip that. So
if I win, you can have my daughter. Rue on a pole match.
We're not gonna put Rue on a pole.
No, with that attitude. Let's
they gotta do something
and go after Bailey. Let's be partners and we'll go after Bailey, even though Bailey has nothing to do with this.
They gotta do some type of gimmick with this. Yeah, they have to. We'll see what they do.
Marry me or I get deported. Oh, that's awful, but that's the country y'all live in. So here we are.
True, sadly.
that's just where we're at. Anyway, that's Monday Night Raw for tonight. Go enjoy it or don't. I don't care what you do. Just go have fun. A lot of you watched this show today. I don't know why, but we appreciate it. We are here every day, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, doing this brand of nonsense. Sometimes we're serious. Most of the time we're not. SB3 is in tomorrow as he is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Jeremy is back. Jeremy, do you have anything to plug before we get on out of here?
I probably should be plugging something, but I don't know. I don't know, folks.
Neither do I. There's plenty of time.
I'm burnt out. I'm like John Cena. I'm not operating at full capacity. I can't I can't deliver the way I want to deliver. I've talked to the higher ups, and they said too fucking bad. Keep showing up.
We can't clone Andrew Thompson more than once. I'm sorry.
Oh God, I wish we could.
I know, buddy. One day we will.
Yeah.
But for now, tomorrow is another day. We're going to get through the rest of this one. So leave your thumbs up on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Drop comments. We need some people dropping some nice comments after the show. Nice ones, not the mean ones that I inevitably have to delete because you're being mean, and that's just not nice. We like nice. So we appreciate y'all. Go ahead. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, as always. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. See you then. Cheers.